Hey Vinny, you wanna make a video with me? Say hey to everybody. That's Vinny. Yep, he's named after who you think he's named after. Yep, of course. Anyway, I'm riding in a car. I'm not driving. Somebody else is driving. So I just had a few minutes and figured I'd make a video for you. I'm enjoying doing these, even if it's just from my phone like this. So I wanted to address something that it's usually the first thing that I address with most students. And one of the questions that I often get from people who, especially people that haven't been playing that long, is what's one thing that I could do pretty quickly that would improve my playing and make sure I would get a better sound and maybe have less bad habits, something I could focus on. And the thing that I outline with everybody that has that question, and the first time that anybody comes to me for a lesson, is we talk about our hands and how we're using the sticks. Now, there's not a right or wrong way to play the drums. I just want to say that to start with. There are tons of different ways to play the drums. There are tons of different ways to use the sticks, whether you're using this more German timpani grip with the back of the hand up, what everybody now kind of calls American grip. We're sort of halfway in between with the thumb rolled up a little bit, or French grip. There's tons of guys that use French grip, and at some point we'll talk about the strengths. It's hard to do that in this car like that. We'll talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of those at some point in another video. But one thing that I notice in a lot of younger players, and when I mean younger, I don't mean younger in age, I mean younger in the amount of time that they've been playing and studying seriously. And I see this in older players that may not have studied with a teacher, is I see a lot of guys. I had a brand new student started 2 weeks ago, came in, and this is the way he held the sticks, just like this. And so when he played, and so, yeah, I said, hold the stick a second, just how you normally hold it. And when I tried to grab the stick, it was almost impossible to get the stick out of his hand. I said, well, that's the first thing that we need to address is your relationship to the stick. And I know that in this guy's case, I know that what you've done has worked for you so far. But going forward, if you're wanting to increase your dexterity, if you're wanting to learn to get faster, everybody wants to get faster, right? If you're trying to get a better sound, or if you're trying to get anything that's more versatile, that allows you to have a lot of different gears to the way that you play, then that kind of grip, where you're locking all of this stuff down and you're holding onto the stick really tight, that's going to impede that progress, because mainly it's going to not allow you to use the fingers, and it's almost impossible to work with rebound, because now all of a sudden when you set the stick in motion, the only thing that can happen is that everything just goes down and stops, and you're going to have to pick that stick back up to make the very next stroke. So, first exercise that I show everybody where we're trying to take care of this is, I want you just to, instead of thinking of the stick as being held here, kind of like we're holding a pen, usually when we're writing with a pen, it really is, the stick is just sitting here, and we're really kind of pinching. If you've ever written for extended periods of time with a pen or pencil, you'll notice that these fingers really, after a while, they start to hurt a little bit. You may even get a little numb in the front part of your hand. It's because of all that pressure. But what we're going to do is we're going to use this middle finger and thumb. And you're just gonna, a little outside of the middle of the stick, you're just gonna hold that, just like that. And I want you to hold it with the least amount of pressure that you need to keep this stick in your hand. We're going, 150 miles an hour down the highway right now. And I'm able to just sit here, and these sticks don't move out of my hands because I'm using just enough pressure, my skin against the wood, to keep that stick in this little fulcrum that I've made. That's what I'm doing. So the first thing is that we're gonna get rid of everything else. Next thing you're gonna do is you're just gonna take that and you're going to roll it over so that the back of the hand is up. You'll notice that I've got none of my fingers on the stick except for that middle finger and thumb right there. Now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna raise my wrist and I'm gonna throw the stick down. And if I don't, it's hard to do in a car like this, but if I don't do anything to impede the progress of that stick, its natural reaction unless it runs into my legs sometimes like it's doing now, its natural reaction is just to bounce straight back up. So we don't want to impede that at all. Every time you're playing a drum stroke, you're creating some energy, and there's energy that gets made from that stroke. And there's a law in physics that basically says that energy can't really be created or destroyed. That's the big thing. It can't be destroyed. It just changes form. In this case, when you move your wrist to get that stick started, that energy that is initiated or created, it's got to go somewhere. And so once the stick hits the drum, it has to go somewhere. And so if we let the stick do what it naturally wants to do, that energy goes into the stick, and the reaction of the stick is to go straight back up. Jim Chapin used to call this stop at the top. And so that's the natural reaction of the stick, is if we push it down, it's going to go in that direction until it hits something. Again, physics. The moment it hits something, it's going to try, if we're going in a straight line, it's going to try and bounce back in the direction that it came. Now, if you're coming at a really severe angle, again, with physics, it's not going to try and bounce back the direction you came. This is why we're turning this wrist this way, so we make sure we can go straight up and down. We're not coming in at a slicing angle, we're coming straight up and down, so that the natural reaction of the stick is to come straight back. All right? So that's going to be your first thing that you're going to do, is you're just going to work on finding how much pressure do I really need to keep this stick here. And at first, it's probably going to be too much pressure. So you're going to back off a little bit. And then after that, you're going to gradually let off until you're going to do this and the stick's going to come out of your hand. Well, you know that you let off too much. There's too little pressure at this point to hold that stick in the fulcrum. So we're talking just like nanometers, or just a little bit of a little gradient of how much pressure we're using to be able to get that stick to pop right back up, and for you to feel the stick actually vibrate in your fulcrum. You'll feel the stick, you'll feel the energy in the stick, because it'll actually vibrate when you do that. And so that's going to be our first exercise I want you to try and do. You're just going to try and use that mechanism right there, just holding the stick just like that between this first joint on your middle finger, yep, take that exit right there, and your thumb, and you're just going to See if you can get that stick to pop back up. And it should go all the way back up until it hits the back of, or front, fitting, till it hits that part of your index finger. It's just going to go straight back until it hits that wall, basically. So that's how you know that you're letting the stick do all of the work after you set it in motion towards the pad or the drum. Hope that helps. We'll call this like a hey man extra. Hey man, here's an idea. Give it a shot. I hope it helps. Leave some comments below and give this a thumbs up if you dig it, if it helps you out a whole lot. And in the next video that I do like this, we'll talk about what to do once you get comfortable with that. What's the next step? Thanks, y'all.